back to a reading of Hot Flash Divas. I'm author Shirley Garrett, and today we're going to be reading chapter 45, Todd's Bomb. This chapter is basically rated PG. It was Sunday afternoon, the day after I managed to alienate 2 men in 2 days. All the divas gathered at my house after lunch with their families. We were lounging in my living room talking and drinking iced tea. I mentioned that I received another letter from Todd in yesterday's mail, but hadn't opened it yet. Open it. I want to hear what the twerp has to say this time, said Gina. She kicked off her heels and bent to rub her feet. I reached for the letter, ripped it open, and read. Dear Phoenix, I hated writing this letter, but my doctor said I should. I have syphilis. I'm not sure when or where I got it, so I'm telling all my sex partners, you might want to get tested. Please don't tell Mom. Todd. That fucking asshole. Cat exploded off the sofa and shot across the room like the space shuttle. We all turned wide-eyed to track her movements. Our calm, rational, logical Cat circled the room like she was orbiting. Cat never says the F word. You might have syphilis? Gina popped her feet like a jack-in-the-box. Arms gesturing, she declared, Quel verm diem impedrum de palm funebri. Sorry, I'm better at writing Italian than saying it. It was never good when Gina lapsed into Italian. What did you say? Asked Letitia. She had her shoes off, feet curled under her on the love seat. That worm of an undertaker, said Gina. I like the worm part. If that worm gave you slut cooties, it would call for diva justice. Letitia started fanning with her hands and turned 2 shades darker. I'm on fire. Where's the switch for that ceiling fan? I stood, flipped the switch, and curled back into my chair. Instead of enraged, I felt numb. What next? Will this man ever stop throwing curveballs at me? I took a deep breath and slowly exhaled. Calm down, I said, raising both hands. Cat made me get tested right after we had discovered Todd was unfaithful. Remember? All my tests came back clean. I don't have syphilis. What about AIDS? Don't you have to be tested 6 months after your first test? Gina sat down, pulled a pillow into her lap, and clutched it. I just got those results back, and I'm clear. Letitia placed her hand over her heart and took deep breaths. Gina looked down and rubbed her forehead. Cat still paced. Sorry to be so angry, but he didn't wear a condom and risked infecting you. There are antibiotic-resistant strains of syphilis out there. She stopped long enough to remove her glasses and run her hand over her face. On top of that, Phoenix can't take penicillin, which would be the first round of defense. She put her glasses back on. That was so irresponsible. He understands all too well about disease transmission because of his job. Now he may have infected who knows how many other women. What was he thinking? I knew why Kat was so angry. Her senior year, she was gang raped during a college fraternity party. She had to take antibiotics because one of the scumbag fraternity boys gave her gonorrhea. Jack was the result of that rape. The divas made sure Kat finished school and helped her throughout the pregnancy. This incident was part of what cemented us together. He was reasoning with his dick, said Gina, as she tucked her feet under her skirt. I held up the letter, which fluttered from the breeze of the twirling ceiling fan. Letitia, you once said Todd had balls the size of BBs. You overestimated their size. He has nano balls. I shook my head with disgust. Don't tell Mom. I mean, really? I think Joy should know what's going on, but I know you don't want to hurt her, said Gina. I began to wonder if men are worth the trouble. I sank back into my recliner. I've dated 3 men so far, Mr. Cheapskate, Mr. Stalker, and Mr. Yellowstone. None of them have worked out. Calmer now, Kat sat lotus-style beside Gina on the couch. She looked at me, her brows drawn together. I know about Mr. Cheapskate, but you lost me on the other 2. I recounted the peculiar date with Kent and his unsettling appearance at Low Mill on Saturday night. Whoa, that's freaky. How did he know you were there? Letitia untucked her feet and sat straight. She wiggled her pink-painted toes into my oriental carpet. After the movie Friday night, Kent asked me what I was doing on Saturday. I mentioned that I was attending an event at Low Mill. Kat pulled off her glasses again, rubbed one eye, and blinked. Okay, that makes sense, but what's with Mr. Yellowstone? She held the spectacles up to inspect them, wiped them with her blouse, and replaced them. That's Nathan. I sensed all this suppressed anger seething below the surface, waiting to spew forth like a geyser at Yellowstone National Park. If you'd seen him Saturday night, y'all would understand. It was like he wanted Kent to take a swing in that parking lot so he could tear into him. He even admitted as much. Then later, while we were discussing the incident, I asked him why he was so angry all the time. He got pissed off, took his bread, and left. I've had a run of bad luck too, admitted Kat. It seems like all the good ones are married. The guys coming out of divorces aren't worth dating, and the rest seem to be hiding from me. When I worked at the hospital, doctors wanted a quickie hit on me all the time. I'm not the sex in a supply closet kind of woman. Now I'm working for Dr. Howard, and most of his patients push walkers. I'm not looking for a quickie. I'm looking for a potential mate and a father for Jack. I folded Todd's letter and shoved it back in the envelope. It would serve as a reminder that he was good riddance. How can 4 dynamic women like us have such difficulty finding a decent guy to date? Over the years, I've heard single women in my therapy office complain about the trauma of dating and the dearth of good men. Until now, I thought they were exaggerating the situation. Gina ran her hand through her curls and sighed. They sprang back to their former state like springs. All the men I've dated seem to be smooth talkers who morph into total assholes. Buffy, who was lounging next to Letitia, shook herself and jumped down. She padded toward the kitchen. I heard the flip-flop of the dog door. I know your problem, Gina. I stretched and yawned. I'd had a hard time falling asleep last night. My trepidation over last night's events has circled my mind like a flock of buzzards until the wee hours. Gina looked my way. Yeah? You're dating lawyers. Isn't being an asshole a requirement for the job? You're excluded, of course. Thank you for listening. Hope you enjoyed the chapter. Please like, subscribe, leave comments. Have a great day. Be safe, be well, and I'll see you next time. Bye.